Yes, hello. If you're watching this show today, it means that you're celebrating Easter. So I'll say happy Easter to all those who are celebrating Easter. And also, the whole theme of what I'm talking about today is around resurrection in some ways. Because, I mean, Easter is about victory, and Easter is about resurrection. One area that I'm praying and hoping that we'll have victory over is the area of human trafficking. Because you see, Nigeria is one of the African countries with the highest percentage of human trafficking activities around the world, both cross-border and internal trafficking. Only recently, CNN did an expose on slave trade activities in Libya, and it was revealed that most of the victims were Nigerians. The accent gave them away. Well, we believe efforts are being made here in Nigeria to kick against human trafficking. And today, as well as next week, you will hear different things around this area. For now, I have the Director General of the agency in charge of human trafficking, NAPTIP, which is the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, Dame Julie Okah-Donli. She's our guest, and we'll dig right back in it when you return. Welcome back. It's my pleasure to welcome Dame Julie on set, Maya Buru.
Thank you very much.
It's nice to have you.
Nice to be here.
And, you know, people feel that your agency is not firm enough on all these perpetrators. That's why things like this happen. So maybe we should use this guy as an example as we welcome you to the show today.
Thank you very much. I don't agree that NAPTIP is not firm enough. And as a matter of fact, the video you sent to me was immediately forwarded to the head of investigations, and he's working on it now. The team is working on it as we speak, and I'm sure we're going to get to the bottom of it. We receive videos like this, all sorts of videos all the time, and we've made arrests based on videos like this. I mean, there was a time one was posted on the Facebook of one lady, you know, who was busy, you know, trafficking young girls, and we arrested her, you know, prosecuted her, so many others like that. Maybe we haven't really been blowing our trumpets on the pages of the newspapers, so people don't realize that NAPTIP is doing a lot. From inception till date, we've convicted about 339, and we still have a lot of cases going on in courts, you know, as we speak. Talking about the CNN video.
Because I was just going to go there. If you've done 339 since 2004, that's quite small. This agency is at least 14 years old.
Yes,
right?
I mean, in the first year of operations, naturally, you don't prosecute that many. I think the first year had just one. Then as the year went on, we had more and more. And don't forget that, yes, we lose some cases, we win some cases. Unfortunately, it's a very specialized area, so many judges are still do not understand the offense of human trafficking. And so we've embarked on a lot of training for judges, you know, and lawyers. Even lawyers don't understand it. I mean, you can't give what you do not have. If you do not understand what human trafficking is about, the consequences, the punishment, and all of that, it will be very difficult to, you know, try the cases very well.
I went that way because I assume one of the areas is, first of all, you don't do enough publicity. I'm sure that's it's obvious reasons. You don't have money for publicity.
We do a lot of publicity. In fact, that is our major strategy. Prevention is the first strategy of the agency. We do a lot of publicity, a lot of awareness campaigns going on in various communities, because it's from the communities that the boys and girls are trafficked, the rural communities. And so we concentrate there. We also go to schools. We go to churches, we engage the media.
So that's awareness.
Yes.
And not necessarily asking, you know, paying for advertising, all of those things.
Oh, we do a lot of that on TV, radio, newspapers. We do quite a bit of that.
Okay, I wonder, you know, remember recently, a CNN reporter, beyond the fact, you have been on CNN talk about this, right? A CNN reporter comes underground to reveal that this thing actually happens because, you know, there's something they call the human trafficking kingpin, the head of the so-called Pusha mine in Edo State, that's my state. And people are wondering, why do we have to wait for CNN to do that kind of thing before we take action?
Well, I think that question is ridiculous, you know, because the same thing the CNN reporter said is the same thing I've been saying all over the world, all over the country. I've been to TV stations, radio, newspapers. There's nowhere I haven't been to warn the youths of the consequences and the ills of human trafficking and the signs of human trafficking. I mean, maybe it takes only a foreign correspondent or a foreign media to report things like this before Nigerians listen, because what the CNN reporter said is not different from what I have been saying and what we will continue to say.
What I find some find interesting is the fact that such people fell to somebody that was obviously well-spoken, well-enlightened, because we've never seen anybody that enlightened come out as having gone through to Libya or wherever and come back. But these pusher men still fell for that kind of thing. Some people say it might have been planned.
No, I don't think it was planned. It just shows you the level of ignorance these so-called pushermen exhibit. I mean, most of them are ignorant. They are very greedy.
They're illiterate.
So, yeah, they are illiterates. They are greedy, they are ignorant, they're only interested in the money. They don't care about anything. They don't think, they just, as long as the money comes, what do I care? That's the problem.
So, but you see, people wonder, Edo State, does it still remain the core? And what have you done? Because I remember recently, somewhere early in the month, in March, the traditional ruler tried to do something.
Edo State, when you talk about human trafficking in Italy, Edo State is number 1. Delta is number 2. Still remains number 1. Delta comes closely as number 2. But when it comes to trafficking in other parts of the world and West Africa and in the Middle East, Edo State is not represented in any of those states most of the time. You get states, other states. Nigerians, I mean, let's say about 28 to 30 states, you find victims of human trafficking in all of these states.
So tell me, maybe it's an opportunity to educate me, what does human trafficking entail really in the next 3 minutes?
Yeah, human trafficking is simply an act of recruitment, transporting, harboring of persons, of human beings, with the aim of exploiting them through threats, force, coercion, deceit, abduction in some cases, with the sole aim of exploiting them. Exploitation in the sense of sexual exploitation, labor exploitation, organ harvesting, and so on.
Okay, that's interesting, because when you talk about human trafficking, people only think about those who have been trafficked for prostitution, and therefore there's a coloration about the fact that they deserve it because they are going out to seek, What do you think about that? I'm
glad you raised that. People are very ignorant, and that is why NAPTIP is going on a sensitization campaign. People are not, those who are exploited cannot be referred to as prostitutes. And the media is doing so much damage to these victims. They are victims of sexual exploitation. A prostitute works for herself and earns money for herself. But when you are sexually exploited, the money is going to someone else, and you do not have your time, you do not have access to the money, and you are being controlled. So they are sexually exploited, and they are not prostitutes. They are made to prostitute for the traffickers.
Okay, I mean, people say they deserve it.
No, they do not, because they are exploited, because they are tricked and deceived. And this is where the ignorance of these people that are saying they deserve it comes from, and we need to educate them on that.
So I will take a break and then come back and talk about why education may be good, but there should be some more hammer on the people that make it happen, and maybe change the situation. If the situation was different in Nigeria, people probably won't be running away. I'll take a break, if you don't mind. And I'll be back shortly with Dame Julie. Yes, welcome back. Just in case you didn't catch that, fortunately, the broadcast schedule is very simple. Channels TV, DSTV 24 on Sundays at 7:30. We repeat this again on Wednesday at 12:30 on the same channel. And then Channels24 Sky UK on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Repeated at 12:30 p.m. on that channel. Terrestrial Channels TV Lagos, Tuesday 3:30 p.m. And terrestrial Abuja, Wednesday 6 p.m. And then terrestrial Benin, Wednesday 7:30 p.m. Thank you again for being on the show. I'm back with Dame Julie. I had to do that. People always ask, when can I see the show? So now you know, and tune in if you missed the first half. Now, the day before I left, I said, if Nigeria was better, would people be running away?
That question is very important, because the people running away are not the poorest people in Nigeria. The people running away are people who have spent so much money to run away. So if they have that much money, why can't they use it in Nigeria? So poverty is not an issue here, but the issue here is sheer ignorance and lack of education, period.
How does ignorance? Ignorance about what? About
ignorance about the truth of what is going on in the destination countries, because they are made to believe there's so much work for them to do, better paid jobs and all of that, and their jobs just waiting for them. That's the level of ignorance and level of illiteracy that is pushing them out of Nigeria, not poverty.
What about the question of those that have gone, stay there and become pusher men on that side themselves? What's your agency doing about so, like the person that we found, for example? Have you arrested people, such people?
Oh, yeah. We've arrested a lot of madams, and we've arrested a lot of these pusher men. These are basically agents of traffickers, you know, more or less. And yeah, we work with intelligence, we work with information. You know, we've been able to arrest quite a number of them.
Because they remain in, so which are the dangerous countries? Morocco, Libya? Libya still remains the biggest problem?
Almost all the countries are very dangerous now. Libya, of course, most of them are actually on transit to the destination countries, which is usually Europe. So Libya, and this is where most of this trafficking you know, takes place, you know, before they go. And that is why I'm going to advocate strongly for them to shut down all detention camps all over the world, because that is the basis for human trafficking and other related crimes.
So how much effort, how much progress have you made in that, shutting down these transit camps?
Yeah,
they call them detention camps, right?
Detention camps, or whatever they call them, or detention centers, for me, are the main reason why human trafficking thrives. Because when the irregular migrants are kept there, then those who are meant to even protect them actually release them to the traffickers, and this is where this trafficking business starts.
It's all about money.
It's all about money.
It's all about money.
It's all about money.
So I just wonder, though, do you feel frustrated sometimes that the sheer number, it seems like it's growing bigger than ever? 14 years, NAPTIP has been working, yet people are still trooping out.
Sometimes it's quite frustrating, but don't forget that NAPTIP cannot work alone. We must work with other sister law enforcement agencies who also have to collaborate with us and help us to ensure that this thing does not continue. For example, we're not at the airports. We should be at the airports, but we're not there. So we rely on those at the airports to help us, to work with us to ensure that these victims are not ferried out of the country. We rely on those at the borders as well to help us to ensure. So we cannot do this alone. So there must be that synergy and collaboration so that we work in a more coordinated manner.
Are you having any challenges in bringing them back? Because we hear of cases that some people want to come back, but officials are beginning to do some kind of wuru-wuru that some people come back and some don't come back.
I would say there are quite some challenges. Yes, we've been able to bring back over 2,000. But we realize
who willingly want to come back?
Almost all of them want to come back. But the truth is that I noticed that the figures started dwindling because the Libyan authorities don't want them to come back. They see them as economic tools because most of them are used for sexual exploitation. They are used to work on the farms. They are used for forced labor, factory workers, and all of that. So they really do not want them to come back.
So what are you doing about that?
But we're going to get them back. We're going to get... Federal government has made it clear. Mr. President has made it clear. No one must be left behind. Everyone must return, and we're going to bring them.
So if there are cases of people who are there, I mean, obviously you respond when you get any information about anyone.
No, we're still working because the first phase of the exercise is done. They are back. Then we're still going to go back for the second phase until every single person.
You're trying to also give them skills, and you believe that's not all. That's not enough. Just giving the people, placing these people in employment and giving them skills that will help them live.
When you give them skills and you empower them, trust me, and you educate them. Because now what is going on is these ones who are back have seen firsthand that there's nowhere like home. They saw that they were in hell and they are not ready to go back to hell. Luckily for us, we now use them as ambassadors for NAPTIP to preach the gospel to those who are thinking of going. So they go back to the communities and tell them, if you're planning to go, do not go. You'll be making a big mistake. It happened to me. And I'm telling you not to go.
Well, the good thing about it is we also spoke to some people who had returned. That's without your knowledge, though. So I'm going to share their stories next week. And as I round up, I just want to find out from you, do you work with NGOs as a matter of course?
Definitely.
Okay.
We have NGOs registered under NAPTIP, under the umbrella body called NAPTAL. All those who are engaged in things like this, those who run shelters, those who rescue victims of trafficking, they work with us. We work with for us, it's all of society, all of government. It's not a government job. This job involves the whole of Nigerians, all of society, which includes NGOs, CSOs, faith-based organizations, the media like you, and everybody. Everyone is our partner.
You seem to be in your element. As a lawyer, as a human rights activist, as a politician, this is home for you.
Yes, it is.
So I hope that after this, we're going to see you in one government house or the other.
Oh, yes, you're going to see me in the government house very soon.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Back in your state by yourself?
Back in my state.
Okay, she said it here first, right? So we'll be there behind you. Still have 3 more years on NAPTIP, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
And hopefully the numbers will keep dropping with the awareness.
Amen.
Thank you for being our guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for watching. And remember, next week, we have people who have actually come back, and it's a painful, painful thing to watch. This is not, but they're happy to be back home. We'll be back next week on Seriously Speaking. I hope you had a good time. See you next week.